On the grid in pole position, Keith Hewen. Alongside him, Rob McElhenney, and then Steve Parrish, 2 Suzukis and a Yamaha. And into paddock on lap 1 with a long way to go. It's Keith Hewen in the lead, Rob McElhenney in second. You recognise him by the red helmet. Up to Druids Hill Bend, and it's the ex-champion, 1979, Keith Hewen, who leads away down to the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend with Rob McElhenney behind him, Mark Sal from Barking on another Suzuki in 3rd position, and Roger Marshall, 3 times champion, in 4th place. That's him in the black helmet with the white star. Look for it into clearways. Long sweeping right-hander, 3rd gear. They come out of it at over 100 miles an hour, accelerate up through the gearbox, and they're doing about 150 miles an hour as they go across the line. And at the end of the lap, it's Hewen leading, McElhenney second, Mark Sal in 3rd position, and Roger Marshall in 4th place, lap 2. Up to Druids, down through the gears, 2nd gear this is, 70 miles an hour. And it's still Hewen, it's McElhenney in 2nd place, and now it's Mark Sal and Roger Marshall's closing up, and Roger Marshall's through into 3rd position. So the 3 times British champion, Roger Marshall, on the 3-cylinder Works Honda, is up into 3rd position, chasing that man, Keith Hewen, number 16, who's had a very patchy season, but he's really coming good at the end of it. So Hewen goes through at the end of the 2nd lap, leading McElhenney. Then Roger Marshall, behind him Mark Sal, so it's Suzuki, Honda, and then Suzuki into lap 3. And up to Druids again comes Keith Hewen, and Rob McElhenney's closing up on him now, right into the right-hander there. That's the 2nd gear, 70 miles an hour, into the shadows and out of it. It's Hewen, it's McElhenney, then Sal and Roger Marshall virtually together. There go the leaders, and Roger Marshall in 3rd position as Hewen goes once again into the sweeping right-hander, the long right-hander. And now, with Roger Marshall on the 3-cylinder Honda closing up, that's the man who's going for the championship for the 4th time. Is he going to do it? Across the line go Hewen and McElhenney again. Keith Hewen riding a Works Suzuki, as is Rob McElhenney, and they go under the bridge into Druids again, and they're lapping now at some 88 miles an hour in comparison with Randy Mamola's lap record of 88.8 miles an hour. There goes Marshall in 3rd position. So McElhenney is on 12 points for 2nd place at the present moment, but the leader there, number 16, Hewen, is on 15 points for a win. Roger Marshall's on 10 points for 3rd position, and don't forget it's the aggregate of 2 legs that decides who's going to be the overall 500cc British champion of 1983. Another lap completed, and this is into lap 5, and it's Hewen. And it looks to me as though Keith Hewen is going to hold that lead. Rob McElhenney, try as he may, can't catch the flying Suzuki in front of him, but Roger Marshall is definitely closing up. Look, Roger Marshall closing up, and there behind them are Mark Sal, Kevin Retham, the ex-Luton rider, now living in Holland, is in 4th position as we look at Roger Marshall. A bad start for Marshall. That's number 11, the man from Rugby, 3 times British champion, 1975, 77 and 82. Started on sidecars, ex-electrician, and he's closing up on Rob McElhenney on the Suzuki in front of him as they go into paddock again. This is lap 6. It's 1984 contracts time. That means to say they're all trying especially hard. And Keith Hewen has now done a lap in 48.7 seconds, and that's inside Randy Mamola's lap record of 48.8. There he is. Marshall gaining after that poor start. McElhenney, there he is, still in 2nd position, and we see the first 3 virtually together. That's McElhenney in 2nd place. Number 19, he comes from Brigg. He's a professional rider, some 6 years experience, and he finished 2nd in the MCN Masters prestigious championship this year. On his way, hopefully, to a works contract for 1984, as into paddock again, lap 7. Hewen, McKelney and Marshall making it look very easy. They've got a lot of mutual trust in each other as round the corner in slow motion they go. Second gear this is, 70 miles an hour, 120 horsepower from these machines, and it's Hewen, McKelney, Marshall, very close. Mark Sal, still there he is, still in fourth position. Behind him, Kevin Retham and Gary Lingham and Ivan Gray, absolutely together, fifth, sixth and seventh. It's a tight, difficult circuit, this 1.2-mile Indy circuit at Brands Hatch. There is no time to relax, and you mustn't put a wheel wrong, otherwise the opposition behind is going to close up and go through. And it's Hewen still leading. It is over the line, McKelney, then Marshall in third position, storming along behind them. It's still Mark Sal fourth on 8 points, as round the corner in slow motion again. And that's real poetry. Keith Hewen, and then McKelney, and then Marshall, and as you see, Marshall is closing up. Down into Graham Hill Bend, the very fast left-hander, 105 miles an hour, accelerating up to 125. Round Surtees, the left-hander, swing right into Clearways. There is Mark Sal, number 6, in fourth position on his four-cylinder Suzuki. He broke his collarbone earlier this season, but he's made a masterly recovery. And over the line again goes McKelney into now lap 9. Hewen leads 15 points if he finishes where he is now. McKelney second, Marshall third, Suzuki leads, Suzuki second, and Honda in third position. Very, very closely matched, these three riders, and Keith Hewen is benefiting from an absolutely superb start. He dragged away when the lights changed from red to green into Paddock Bend first, and now he's reaping the benefit as you see him go round Clearways, soon to complete another lap. That'll be 2/3 distance completed in this 15-lap race. Hewen with the big H on his back. Rob McKelney not making any ground at all on the leader, but Roger Marshall's gaining. Roger Marshall in third position. He's right up with McKelney now as Hewen goes into Druids in second gear. That 70-mile-an-hour corner. Hewen, McKelney's pulled away a bit from Marshall. But it looks as though Keith Hewen, number 16 from Wollaston with his 8 years experience, and there, number 11, Roger Marshall, it looks as though Hewen has got it in the bag. He has paced himself and the race absolutely superbly. He could control the race from the front. McKelney is still in that second position as up to the right-hander at Druids they come. Stu Baker, number 97 from Ely, is about to be lapped by Hewen, by McKelney, by Roger Marshall. There's Marshall on the Honda. Past Stu Baker they go. And Keith Hewen has just smashed the lap record. There he is, 48.5 seconds, a speed of 89.34 seconds, faster than the top works machine of Suzuki rider Randy Mamola. And that's a terrific achievement by Keith Hewen as he crosses the line. Past the scoreboard, round the very, very difficult Paddock Bend, swooping up Halewood Hill into Druids Hill Bend. And on the 12th lap then, this 15-lap race, and the question is not so much whether Keith Hewen on the Suzuki is going to win, but who is going to be second. Is it going to be in the red helmet, McKelney, or there in the black helmet with the white star, the famous helmet of Roger Marshall? Suzuki leads, Suzuki second, Honda third. Behind them in fourth position, it's still Mark Sal. Kevin Retham is in fifth place, and Gary Lingham is in sixth position. 15 points for a win, 12 for second, 10 for third, 8 for fourth, 6 for fifth, 5 for sixth, and so on, down to 1 point for 10th position. And round again into another lap, and Marshall is making a terrific effort now. He's trying to close right up on the second place man, Rob McKelney, because that's going to make the difference between 12 points and 10 points as far as Roger Marshall is concerned. He wants to be, he means to be the 1984 500cc British champion, but not if Keith Hewen there can do something about it. And at the present moment, he's doing just that, keeping well ahead. Keith Hewen then. down behind the bubble, along the Brabham Straight in 6th gear, 150 miles an hour, comes up from behind the Perspex windscreen, down through the gears into 3rd gear, Keith Ewan, 100 miles an hour, and there's Marshall, and it looks to me as though Marshall can't catch, let alone get past McKelney. They're very evenly spread. No change in the first 3, as a matter of fact, no change in the first 6. It's still Ewan, McKelney, Marshall, Sal, Retham, Lingham. And so therefore it is just 1 Honda and 5 Suzukis in the top 6 places in this first leg of the Marshall Tractors ECU 500cc British Championship meeting here at Brands Hatch on the Indy circuit. And over the line into the last lap goes Keith Ewan there, up to Druids for the 15th and last time. Round it, McKelney making a big effort, Marshall making a big effort. But it's really fluid, very smooth, absolutely effortless and very stylish riding from number 16, 29-year-old Keith Ewan from Wollaston, who's only got to come out of clearways now, accelerate away and look through the windscreen to take the checkered flag, with McKelney coming up in 2nd place, with Marshall in 3rd position. And here is Ewan, he's into the top straight, he crosses the line, and Keith Ewan wins the first leg. McKelney in 2nd place, Marshall in 3rd, Sal in 4th, Kevin Retham 5th, and Gary Lingham in 6th place. Well, Keith Ewan may have had a patchy season, but he's certainly finishing it on a very, very high note. Into the rostrum area now he comes. Has he impressed Rex White, the Suzuki team manager? Well, there is Rex White in the yellow jacket. And Keith Ewan has got a lot to be proud about. A smooth, good ride. It's taken him to victory. It's given him 15 points, but there's still the 2nd leg to come. Keith, you're obviously in terrific form. That looked like an easy win for you in the first leg, was it?
No.
Why not?
Brands Hatch short circuit has got so many variables, and it is so short. You haven't got time to look behind you to see who's there. And I know both Rob and Roger are going very, very well at the moment. And on this track, it's easy to nip on the last lap past somebody.
What about the 2nd leg?
And I'm going to try and do the same.
British champion 1983?
I would hope so, but you can't say anything at this early stage. Anything can happen.
For you, only 3rd in the first leg. What happened?
Well, I didn't make a particularly good start. Tried very hard to catch the Suzuki's, and then I had a monster slide on at clearways. And then I fought my way back again, but Rob and Keith were riding exceptionally well, and I put more than 100% into my ride, and I went under the lap record, just 0.1 of a second off Keith's fastest time. And you know, I feel I'm riding at my absolute best, but those two were on top form as well.
Well, Keith Ewan there is certainly on top form. He won the first leg, he broke the lap record, and there's Mark Sal, who went well. 4th place, 8 points. So, all ready then for the 2nd leg. And away they go. And Sal and McKelney lead. Mark Sal and Rob McKelney lead away on their Suzukis, and Keith Ewan, the winner of the first leg, is into 3rd position already as they go up Halewood Hill into Druids Hill Bend, and it's McKelney leading round the right-hander. Rob McKelney, 2nd in the MCN Masters, riding a Works Suzuki. He hasn't had all that much experience on a Works 500, but look at the way he's going in this 2nd leg. First lap out of 15. McKelney leads. Mark Sal there in the white helmet still in 2nd position. Keith Ewan is 3rd, and Kevin Retham is in 4th place. Round clearways, lap 1 almost completed. Away they stream into the Brabham Straight. This is a 150-mile-an-hour section, and it's very close for 2nd place. 2nd of 15 laps then, and it's Rob McKelney leading. It's Mark Sal in 2nd position, it's Keith Ewan in 3rd, it's Kevin Retham in 4th, and Chris Guy is in 5th place as the leader comes out of Druids Hill Bend, down Graham Hill, into Graham Hill Bend, along Cooper Street, 125 miles an hour, and his machine is producing some 120 horsepower. And it looks to me as though Rob McElhenney there is going to make a breakaway. That's number 19, McElhenney on the Suzuki from Brigg. 6 years racing experience coming up to complete the second lap. It's McElhenney. Now look behind him. Who is in second place? It's Keith Hewen. Keith Hewen is up into second place. And Kevin Retham is in third place. Mark Sal has gone down to fourth position. There's Hewen, and there is Mark Sal, just going through in fourth position. As they stream round the right-hander at Druids, there is Hewen now. It's Keith Hewen who won the first leg. Going to be able to catch and pass McElhenney there. Don't forget that Hewen won the first leg and McElhenney was in second place. Now the positions are reversed, and it is the aggregate of points from the two legs that decides the overall British champion. So Hewen has got to catch and pass McElhenney if they are not to finish equal on points as they finish another lap. Up into lap 4 now, with McElhenney leading, Hewen second, Retham third now, in fourth position. It's Roger Marshall's coming up through the field. Roger Marshall, who finished third in the first heat, and Roger Marshall is a 3 times British champion. Chasing now, Keith Hewen, who is second, chasing that man in the red helmet there, McElhenney, who leads. This is lap 4, and they are still tying. Keith Hewen there, number 16, and Rob McElhenney in front of him, tying on 27 points at the present moment if they finish in the positions they're in now at the end of this leg. End of the lap, McElhenney, Hewen, Retham, Marshall in fourth position. And we are now on lap 5, which is 1/3 distance. Hewen challenging. Hewen is starting to close up on Rob McElhenney. There is the leader coming out of Graham Hill Bend along the Cooper Straight into the left-hander at Surtees, and Hewen is chasing really hard now. There goes McElhenney. Hewen behind him, and Hewen's off. Hewen's off. Hewen's dropped it. The bike goes into the tyres. So does Keith Hewen. And that was a very quick one. That was fourth gear, 100 miles an hour. But Keith Hewen seems to be, yes, as the machine is positioned, Keith Hewen seems to be perfectly all right, and that means to say now, McElhenney leads. There he is. Kevin Retham's gone up into second place. Roger Marshall is now third. Mark Sal is fourth. Ron Haslam on the Works Honda is up into fifth place, and Gary Lingham is sixth. And that means to say that Rob McElhenney is leading overall with 27 points, and Roger Marshall is now, there's Marshall, the second of those two riders. And in terms of the championship, there is the leader, Rob McElhenney, who's leading this second leg, and Roger Marshall, who's chasing Kevin Retham very hard indeed for second place, is in second place in the championship. Wow, that was really exciting as Rob McElhenney, as Keith Hewen came off. Rob McElhenney there leading as it goes up into Druids. And we are on lap 7 in this 15-lap race, slow motion round the right-hander at Druids. A very tricky corner. You've got to get your line absolutely right, and Rob McElhenney does just that. Comes out of it, down the hill, clips the apex at the left-hander there at Graham Hill Bend, and now coming up to where Keith Hewen came off. But the man to watch now is Roger Marshall. There is the race leader, Rob McElhenney, going through, completing another lap, going into Paddock Bend. We are now on lap 8 with McElhenney leading, with Marshall, and there behind them is Ron Haslam, number 35, on the Works Honda, but he's got a damaged leg. He came off in practice, he hurt his ankle and his leg, and he's got big problems. But going through now, Rob McElhenney leads. In second place then, it's Kevin Retham. In third place, it's still Roger Marshall. And Roger Marshall doesn't seem to be able to do anything about catching and getting past Kevin Retham, who's making a terrific comeback into top-level racing after a very bad accident in the 1979 TT. There goes Retham and Marshall. Kevin Retham, only partially sighted in his left eye, lives in Holland, and into the right-hander now at the top of the highest point of the course on the HB Suzuki. goes Rob McElney. Lap 9, 15-lap race. McElney leads. Kevin and Retham and Marshall absolutely together. Then Mark Sal. Behind him in 5th position it's Gary Lingham, and in 6th place Steve Parrish. Rob McElney leading on points. Roger Marshall in 2nd place, and Marshall's got to try and get past Kevin Retham if he is to be British champion of 1983. Doesn't look like it at the present moment. It looks as though Rob McElney there has got it in the bag. Now going into lap 10, 2/3 distance. McElney leads them. Now, where behind him are Kevin Retham and Roger Marshall. There they are. There is McElney. And Retham and Marshall are definitely closing up on Rob McElney, with Mark Sal in 4th position. There's Kevin Retham, number 46. Behind him in 3rd position, Roger Marshall, and I suspect that McElney's tyres must be going off, because look at the way that Kevin Retham in 2nd place and Roger Marshall in 3rd place have closed up on him. The first 3 are practically together as they go into paddock. And this is lap 11 now. It's a 15-lap race, and it could well be that there's going to be a change. Kevin Retham is riding the race of his life. He's on the ex-Bert van Dulman Works Suzuki. Van Dulman, the Dutch Works rider. And McElney has now got right in his slipstream Kevin Retham and Roger Marshall. They're coming up now to lap Stu Baker, number 97. Comes from Ealing. And off goes McElney. Well, this is it. My goodness, look at that. McElney off and walking away from the accident. Absolutely no problem. And now let's look at it again. McElney loses it. The bike slides. It hits the tyre wall. So does McElney, and he walks away from it after going off at 120 miles an hour. And so now into the lap with Keith Ewan out, with McElney out. We're on lap 12 out of 15, and Kevin Retham is leading. And will he be happy, because his potential 1984 sponsor is in the crowd to see how he goes, and he goes superbly in the lead, with Roger Marshall now in 2nd position and leading the championship. There's Marshall, the second of these 2 riders, lapping number 97, Stu Baker. But Marshall must stay in 2nd place and ideally get past Kevin Retham. There is only 1 point between them in the championship at the present moment. Marshall in 2nd place is on 22 points. The leader, Kevin Retham, is on 21 points. And now, lap 13. Roger Marshall recovering from a bad start, as he did in the first leg, in 2nd place. Thanks, frankly, to Keith Ewan coming off and Rob McElney coming off. And there is Kevin Retham. What a comeback into top-class racing. Kevin Retham well up in the first leg. Looks as though he's on his way to winning the 2nd leg, provided Roger Marshall on the 3-cylinder Works Honda does not catch and pass him. Lap 14. 1 to go at the end of this one. And now Roger Marshall and Mark Sal and Gary Lingham, there's Gary Lingham, number 14, are all together in 2nd, 3rd and 4th places as Retham goes round Graham Hill Bend, the left-hander, along Cooper Straight. And Roger Marshall must not let Mark Sal get past him, otherwise he's going to lose the championship. And he shares, Roger Marshall now shares the fastest lap with Keith Ewan, 48.6 seconds, 89.2 miles an hour, but that is slower than Keith Ewan's new lap record from the first leg. And into lap 15, the last lap, goes Kevin Retham. Roger Marshall still 2nd, Mark Sal is still 3rd, Gary Lingham is in 4th place, and Kevin Retham. It's a wonderful race for the man who used to live in Luton and now lives in Holland. There he is. It's going to be a superb win. He's going to finish in 2nd place in the British 500cc Championship, provided he just does the last few 100 yards to complete the lap. And there is Roger Marshall on the 3-cylinder Works Honda, and he's on his way to his 4th British Championship in the 500cc class. What an achievement. Roger Marshall then into the top straight. Kevin Retham goes through. He sees the checkered flag. And Kevin Retton wins. Roger Marshall second and wins the championship. Mark Sowley's third, and third in the championship. Gary Lingham fourth. Ron Haslam fifth. And Steve Parrish in sixth position. Now, the rundown lap, the waves to the crowd, the jubilation. There's three very happy men. A superb winning ride from Kevin Retton for second place in the championship. But Roger Marshall's third and second places gave him his fourth British Championship, although that second leg was tough.
It was the hardest race I've ever been involved in. The first leg was terrific pace under the lap record, and I knew I'd have to get a good start, as I said to you, in that second one, but I made a bad start again, and luckily Kevin Retton was absolutely flying, and he towed me up to Keith, and then I saw Keith go down, and then I thought, Christ, I'm in with a good chance now if I can pass Kevin and probably get Rob.
Yeah.
So
Did you see Rob?
Then I saw Rob go down. Well, I thought, well, you know, second place will do, but I'll maybe try and win the race as well. But Kevin was setting such a hot pace. I thought I had a big slide at paddock. I thought that's enough.
Enough indeed for Roger Marshall, appropriately doing his hard-won lap of honour in a Marshall tractor to finish his first season for Honda on a very high note, and to set himself up very nicely for a continued works ride in 1984.